The new Prime Minister, Mr. Lawrence Wong, wants a mandate from us, the people. He may be the new Prime Minister, but behind that smiley face is the same old PAP that ignored all your complaints and continue to increase the GST, making us pay even more than we did 5 years ago for our bread, eggs, milk, rice, sugar, oil, baby diapers, and even adult diapers of our elderly parents, making us ever poorer than we were 5 years ago, having to spend more money today. So, should we give him that strong mandate he asked for? No! Do you think he listens to us if we simply gave him the strong mandate? No! Now he tells you about the US tariffs impacting us and how it puts our jobs at potential risk, counting on that fear to cause you to play safe and vote for the PAP. What he doesn't tell you is that even before these US tariffs appearing on the scene, the PAP did little to protect your jobs and support you, the workers.
Some Singaporeans are struggling to put food on the table. Food insecurity in Singapore is a real problem. And no, this isn't something we can just dismiss or downplay. In response, the government has rolled out food and grocery vouchers. We know Voucher Wong is currently speaking on the other side of town. But let's not kid ourselves. Vouchers are not a solution. They are a short-term band-aid while we brace for a very worse downfall. These measures do little to address the underlying causes of poverty, inequality, or the rising cost of living. In fact, there's a very real risk that these policies are actually making things worse by driving demand in a way that fuels prices even further, without fundamentally improving anyone's long-term prospects.
The PAP was once a party of the people, the first generation of PAP leaders, Mr. Lim Chin Siong, Mr. Goh Keng Swee, Mr. S. Rajaratnam, Dr. Po Su Kai. These were a people of a different generation and class. These were conviction politicians, not TikTok politicians. Honestly, Singaporeans don't really care about humble backgrounds and people singing songs in other languages. What we want is a politician who simply does his job. Am I right? Yeah. Let me ask you a question. How many of you know what an MP's salary is? 16,000? Yeah, it's thereabouts. 16,000 a month. Okay? And remember, an MP's job is way more than just keeping the estate clean and erecting sheltered walkways. An MP's job is to speak up in Parliament for you and for me. And it's, we always see a lot of PAP MPs saying that, oh, if elected, I will speak up, I will speak up. Have you all seen the videos? Yeah? Sleeping. Let me ask you this. How many PAP MPs voted against the GST hike? 0. Kosong. 0. But can you imagine what Parliament would be like if Dr. Chee Soon Juan and Dr. Paul Tambyah are in Parliament?
Let's talk about GST. It is now 9%. It affects everyone. Young families, the elderly, the low income, the unemployed. It's a burden that keeps growing. SDP will push to reduce GST from 9% to 7%, or even better, 5%. And even more importantly, we want to abolish GST on essential items such as your food, medicine, baby products. Because basic needs should not be taxed. Prioritizing jobs for Singaporeans. We've heard your frustrations. You're qualified, you're experienced, but you don't get jobs. Why? Why? Cheaper foreign PMETs. This is not fair. The SDP will tighten policies on foreign PMET hiring to make sure Singaporeans get a fair shot at meaningful work. We are not against foreigners, we are not. But we must put Singaporeans first.
As any football fan will tell you, the way to get your football team better is to play against the best. If you try to shift the goalposts, cripple your opponents with professional fouls, change the rules of the game halfway, or cut short your opponent's training time to 28 days after the announcement of fixtures, it's just no good. It's not just no good for the opponents, it's also no good for you. You may win in an level playing field, but once you get into a real game with good opponents, with stronger opponent, you have to play an away game in new and unfamiliar territory, you fall apart. And we don't want that for Singapore. Now, do you know when the vote was taken on the raise in GST, every single opposition MP in Parliament voted against the rise in GST. But there were too few of them. Now, you know what happens, right? You watch today in Parliament, you see half the house is empty. The PAP MPs are either at the toilet or they're running their own business or they're traveling. So there is a possibility that if you get enough opposition MPs in Parliament, that either the PAP MPs will work harder and show up in Parliament, or will be able to block such harmful legislation. So we are not going to be the government now, we're not going to be government in the next election, but maybe 2 elections from now, we will really get a chance to bring you to a Singapore where everybody can thrive.
But it was the PAP's profligate spending that has caused it to have to raise the GST. What do I mean? Take, for instance, the Founders' Memorial. If you go to Marina Barrage, you will see a section being cordoned off under construction right now. How much will this memorial cost you? A cool $335 million. And by the time that project is finished, it could cost a lot more. And the memorial is one of those nice to have things, but one that benefits the people very little. Now in 2022, it pledged nearly $1 billion with a B. It pledged $1 billion to the Singapore Press Holdings, bailing out the company that is hemorrhaging money because no one is reading its newspapers. And remember how the government recently wasted $40 million on the failed Simply Go system. Billions more was spent to review the MRT system, only to have its worst breakdown in SMRT's history. Last year, when the East-West line was disrupted for nearly a week. The truth, my friends, is that the PAP is not the prudent, frugal government that it once was. As I said, waste big, tax big. The new and younger ministers have tasted the high life. And like McDonald's, they're loving it. I repeat, the high cost of living that you are struggling with is not due to some global trends as Mr. Lawrence Wong would have us believe, but in fact, the PAP's very own making. But more importantly, what I want to tell you is that these increases can be reversed. To do this, the SDP proposes that we reduce the GST back to 7% and bring prices back to pre-COVID levels. This is why you need SDP MPs in the next parliament. We will not be fearful when it comes to engaging the PAP on the cost of living. And we will push the government to lower expenses. Costly, wasteful spending on unnecessary projects that don't add value to your lives will be called out. And we will scrutinize the PAP spending.